So we're with Mr. Steele here. He is the mayor of the town. Not really, but he knows the town better than anyone. And we're going to take a quick tour of Fayette, Missouri, the famous Rethwisch Elms house that we just drove. We can see it through over there. It's a giant Victorian home that we're going to go back to. But let's do a quick tour here. Show us what we got here, Jim.
Okay. Well, this is a nice little house where my daughter and her husband live. And
but where's that? Which right next to us, or which one?
Right, that little greenhouse.
Right there. Okay. Yeah.
And it's owned by a fellow by the name of Dale Meyer. He's an excellent plumber, and I would highly recommend him to you. And he's far more reasonable than some of the rest of them. Okay, we're turning now on Highway 5, which is in town. Is called Cleveland.
Okay.
And it is the main drag that goes north and south through the state. And going south, it takes you to Boonville, and goes north, it takes you up to Glasgow. To the left over here, Carter, is our high school.
Yeah, that's where Dad played football, basketball, baseball. He was the quarterback there, right?
Yeah, I'll pull over here for just a minute.
Okay.
So you can look at it. This high school, the part other than the gymnasium, burned the first 2 or 3 days I came back here in the very end of 2000. It turned out to be a blessing in disguise because it turned out to have a much better building. As editor of the paper, I helped promote the bond issue, and it worked out quite well. And we have a good school system.
Very cool. And I see they did the water tower. Where did I see that water tower? It had the Falcons on it.
Yeah.
The Fayette Falcons. All right.
Okay. Well,
Highway number 5. That was my number back in grade school, before Albert Pool Holes. There's that fountain. Or water tower, I should say.
yeah. The name of the sports teams that your dad would have played for, and all the rest of them, whether it be basketball, football, or whatever, are the Falcons. Now, if you want to look straight ahead up there, I'm going to turn here. You can see our little golf course. It's only 9 holes, but it's a nice little course, and there's some larger ones not far away, such as Boonville and Columbia and so forth.
Now, is this true what I understand, or did they change this? It's got no greens. It's all sand pits, and
That's correct.
And you take your ball and mark it
That's
as far
correct.
away as it was from the pin, and then putt from that strip that's on the.
You know better than I do, but
Okay.
yes, it's most of the golfers, serious golfers, go someplace else because it's. And then they want to play more than 9 holes too. This is our city park. It was put in the mid-30s, and it's a really nice little city park for a town this size. Some real nice homes out that way that border the golf course. Now this is the historic swimming pool over here.
All right.
Dedicated 4th of July 1936, one of the few of this kind remaining, and we are part of a group that's trying to keep it restored and up, and it's still quite viable.
So it's kind of an above ground.
It's above ground pool, yeah. And we're going to put a splash park. I'm on a committee. We're going to put a splash park right in there for the kiddies.
Okay.
If you ever decide to get married and have a kid, go there.
Well, when I get old enough, I might.
Yeah, that's right. This is the Morrison Observatory, which is owned by Central Methodist University. It's had its beginnings up in Glasgow. It has a lot of history to it and some beautiful equipment. And so you can go in there, and they have open houses there, usually on Thursday nights. Not so much in the winter, but they do in the fall and the spring and the summer.
At one time, was that the largest telescope in the
Yes,
state?
it was.
I think I heard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And at one point, that telescope was used as the official timekeeping device for the state of Missouri. Anyway, this was back in the late 1800s. This is the official residence of the president of Central Methodist University.
Okay.
His name is Roger Drake. He's doing a great job here. And anyway, that's obviously the water tower. That's fairly new. That was put in just a few years ago.
They didn't have water before that?
No, we had plenty of water. The whole water tower was just a little bit worn out.
I got you.
This is the Lutheran church here, which ought to resonate with you.
Yep.
And
that where the basketball team plays right there?
No, that's just for
okay.
That's just for kids that want to play.
That's
in the
just
park.
practice. Okay. That's not the high school field. That's not the high school court.
No.
Okay, I'm joking. They've got a nice gym right over here.
They do. Yeah.
Right over here.
Now, if you want to look over to your left there, you'll see some of the buildings that are used for VOAG and home ec and that type of thing, in addition to the main building. The building kind of straight ahead and to the left is fairly new, and that's our administration building that we're kind of proud of because it just put it in. It used to be kind of... Over here, our Clark Elementary School and Clark Middle School to the far left, and Daly Elementary to the right, and that's those are, in other words, the high school and this complex here are the three main buildings that are part of the school system.
I'll have to get a picture of that. My nephew will be glad to see his school.
Yeah.
His name is Clark. Right? You know Clark, I think.
Yeah, it was named after a former school superintendent that was here many years. I knew him.
First touchdown ever scored there was it a pass from Braxton Rethwisch on this field?
It may have been. You never know.
That was the first football team they had. Not to say they were any good, but he was the first. They might have been really good. I don't know. My dad made the joke that they had. Here's the baseball field. Here we go.
Yep.
They had Leon, I think. I forget his name, but Leon.
Here's the bus barn, by the way.
Okay.
All the buses are inside.
He said Leon was the star football player, but didn't make his grades, and the coach played him anyway. And he said nobody remembers the forfeits.
Well, the football program, which Braxton was part of the very first team in 1958, and of course it's continued ever since. Now, okay, let me get to the left here.
And this is 5 again?
Yeah, we kind of looped around.
Right. That's the Dairy Queen. I've been there a number of times.
Yeah, it's a nice place. Unfortunately, we don't have a McDonald's.
I was gonna say they didn't rank up to get the McDonald's, but they got the Dairy Queen.
Well, the guy who owned this, his lease was up, and the people in Chicago who run McDonald's wanted a lot more money and more money and then they wanted a bunch of improvements made, and the guy just said it wasn't going to happen. He didn't renew it.
So where are we going next?
Okay, we're going to make a right here and go down highway. This is where 240 joins 5, and this is the main drag through town to the east, and this is...
Are we going to the east side?
West, I guess we are.
Okay.
But anyway...
That's an inside joke for my St. Louis friends.
Oh, okay, yes, I know where the east side is. I'll let this car go by so I'm not blocking him. These are some of the nice residential streets in here. This is Highway 240 through town is called Church Street, and it's probably one of the best known places.
That's definitely not the east side then, because that's the opposite of what you said would be on the east side in St. Louis. No churches on these.
If you make a habit of going over there, don't tell anybody.
I've just heard about it. I've never been there.
Of course not. I understand. Right. So
friends that told me about it.
Okay, we're coming down Church Street, which is also Highway 240, and some of the nice old homes are down through here. This is one of the big ones over here that was owned by my friend John Hurt and owned by a fine Democrat now. I'm sure you'll get to know her. And
there's Central.
And here we are at the north side of Central Methodist University. That's Woodward Hall.
Woodward, okay.
That's a men's dorm.
And right over here is Jimmy Barnes' bench. Is that Jimmy Barnes' bench? I think that's it right there.
I don't know.
I think that's it.
This is McMurray, which is kind of a...
Squirrels are going at it.
And there's another men's dorm over there, back in through there.
Do they let squirrels just fight like that?
Oh, yeah. This is T. Berry Smith Hall, which is kind of one of the iconic places. Mostly the social sciences. That used to be Science Hall. The science building has just been refurbished, and that's down right there. That big long building just to the left there.
Yeah, and let's what's the new hall? Is that the one is that Stedman? There it is.
Yeah, Stedman. It was named after a prominent donor back about 1960 or thereabouts.
So Central is the largest university in all of Fayette. Is that true?
That's correct. Yeah.
That's true.
That's the Smitty Conservatory to the left, the United Methodist Church here, Cross Memorial Tower here, and then the parish house for the church is here. And this entire complex was built in from the mid-20s to the early 30s. Still very beautiful.
Yeah, I was on that campus for one semester until everybody knows about my little accident. That's
Oh,
right.
yeah. You weren't on the east side, though.
I was not on the east side.
Okay, good.
We were headed there, I think. That's what we
Let's pull in here.
That's why they have that dedicated bench to my buddy Jimmy, who
This is the
was in that accident with us.
First Christian Church, which is one of the prominent congregations here. Christian Church, Disciples of Christ.
All right, okay.
Now, Carter, on the far left is the oldest building. That's
Is that Brannick?
That's Brannick Hall.
Okay.
That's administration now. It's had various uses, including housing.
It was housing at one point?
No,
Okay.
it housed troops during the Civil War.
Oh, house troops.
Yeah, and
Okay.
now swing around to the right. This side of the campus used to be Howard Payne College. It was absorbed into Central back in the 20s, and there's a women's dormitory here. And to the far right, back that way, is Classic Hall, and that's for the Ashby Hodge Gallery of Art and Music. And
Right there used to be the town liquor store. Is that's no longer there, I guess.
No, I'll show you where it is, though.
Okay. Down the street was Max. Now it's called, what's it called now?
No, that's on the south side. We'll get to that.
Okay.
This is Holt Hall here. This is the largest women's dorm, and there's Bill Sheehan.
Is it Bill? Where
I
is
think it was. I'm not sure. He had a mask on.
Let's see.
But anyway,
I guess I had Bill.
there's been a tremendous number of physical improvements made here, even in just the 20 years I've been back. And really, you've got a pretty good campus in terms of facilities. This is the little theater, the library that's there. Puckett Fieldhouse.
Puckett, there it is, yeah.
Straight ahead.
They got a heck of a facility for basketball here.
And yeah, it
There's
is.
the backside of
It's had a
Stedman.
number of.
And here's the world famous baseball field.
Yeah.
They're out there
You
practicing.
check to the right. Are we okay there?
Yeah, you're clear.
Okay, well, I better wait till this guy comes by.
Oh, watch out. No, I'm joking. We're clear still. They're coming. Okay. But yeah, that's the field I was set to play on, and then we all know about the accident that happened. But yeah, you're clear if you go out. Yeah, now you can go.
All right,
Yep,
here we go.
You're good.
Okay, come back.
Yep, okay.
Come back to your left a little bit. This is the Student and Community Center. It's a very nice facility.
Is that the Stedman on the backside?
No, Stedman's back that way.
Okay.
Stedman's the science building.
Okay, so this is the new.
This is named in honor of Mary Ann Inman, our past president. This is the newest building in terms of classrooms that houses the health-related sciences, nursing, all sorts of occupational therapy. Central's made quite a reputation in that field recently.
Okay.
Puckett Fieldhouse through here. There's a weight training facility over here, which would be right behind the field house. And that's it there.
Is this was this the soccer field? Now it's a parking lot, or is it?
Soccer field's on back that way?
It
I
is
think.
back over there still. Okay.
Well, all these fields have been expanded tremendously.
Okay.
This is the Phillips Robb Recreation Center. It has an indoor pool, and again, it's been added to quite a bit.
And yeah, here's the football. So this is where I was going to kick field goals first.
Yeah.
And then that all happened. That's a great looking field. They got the turf there now. There's a bright yellow goalpost. I like that. It makes it easy for
You
me to
can
kick
see
the
that
ball
this
between the
building
posts.
has been added to and expanded. Now, straight ahead is the home of a very prominent citizen who's elderly and senile. But that's my house.
Oh, I was gonna say that can't be the Man of Steel, Mr.
No, that's where Susan and I live.
Okay.
I
that's
bought
right.
that in 2003 and everything.
That's a nice place.
It's pretty when the leaves are out.
Yeah, that's great. Nice little porch here. Yeah, so we just have we covered all of Fayette by now? That's
No, you've got
okay. All right, nothing more else to say. Seemed like we covered a lot already.
Okay, we'll head downtown. Now we're gonna come back. We'll pick up Church Street again and make a left.
My dad said when he went to school during winter, he had to go uphill both ways.
Yeah. Oh yeah. All people our age, we
On ice.
We walk through the snow uphill both ways.
Uphill and it was ice covered too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So we're going to swing past the campus again, and then we're going to head downtown. So that's whatever downtown is.
Downtown. Yeah, that's right. They got the main drag, the square.
Yep.
Downtown. You guys want me to sing for you? I can sing. Blame it all on my roots. I showed up in boots and was ruining your black tie affair.
These are some of the real old original buildings in through here. Now we're kind of coming into the business district. The building, that's the church hall for Christian Church there.
Okay.
This is our pharmacy right here. It's a nice little pharmacy.
Nice. And there it is, Town Square. You can see that from my parents'
Yeah. This is the Baptist church here. It's a very nice facility. And that's a prominent building. This is Home Oil, the Sinclair station over here. Okay. That is, virtually everybody trades there, and they're full service.
So they come out and pump your gas for you.
Yeah, yeah. They're
There's the Town Square. What is that building called? Is that the City Hall?
No.
Okay.
It's called the courthouse.
The courthouse.
This is our bandstand over here.
See, I've never been to the courthouse. I stayed out of trouble.
Yeah, the courthouse is, of course, where the county offices are. Then we have 3 banks. There's Exchange Bank, and then Merchants and Farmers over here to the left.
Lots of money in Fayette.
To some extent, maybe not.
I mean, lots of banks. No.
And
here we go. So
here's our State Farm office.
Hot air products.
We're swinging around the square now.
There we go.
We do have some.
And this is
buildings that are
part of town. And did we miss Max, or is it now?
No, we'll get Max here.
Okay.
This is a nice little pub here, and
Main Street Pub.
They have good food there.
Okay.
And our gourmet restaurant is right over here called Emmett's.
Yeah,
we have a Subway there. Obviously, you see that.
Yep, see that.
And this is Commercial Trust, which is our most prominent bank.
They look like they're doing well.
Yeah, they're good people.
This is the back end when that used to be the liquor store right there. Now it's gone.
Yeah, the liquor store is another place now.
Okay, they didn't go away.
And also at C&R, they've got a good liquor supply.
Okay.
And there's the building I used to own that owned the paper, where the paper's located, where the flag is.
Nice. Okay, CMU. Great. Nice.
This is a very.
Wasn't this a shoe store at one point?
No, it was. Okay. This is a lab thing. They do all sorts of water testing all over the country, and they're very fine.
Really?
It's run by a Central Methodist grad.
Get your water tested from around the country in Fayette, Missouri.
Here's the courthouse, obviously.
That's the courthouse again.
18, yeah. It's
I've never been in the courthouse, thank goodness.
Well, it's an interesting place.
It looks like a prominent building.
And here's Edward Jones Realty Company, Tax Advantage. That's not who I was going to say something to her. That's not who I thought it was.
Okay.
Okay, we're going to kind of go back around the square again.
Is there time to pause it for a minute while we're going to repeat, or should I keep it rolling?
Probably just keep it rolling here, because it won't take long.
All right.
And
how many police officers do they have?
About 7, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah. Some of these in through here are vacant, but they've been occupied. This is, we have a laundromat here, if you need that for any reason. And over here is Paisley Boutique. It's a very fine florist shop and gifts and things like that. And this is Casey's, and they have they do a pretty good business. They have great pizzas. And that's another place to buy gas. Of course, there you pump your own. Here's our library. It looks like they're getting some work done on the facade of it.
All right.
And it's for a town this size, it's a pretty good little library. Now I'm putting left here. This is the insurance office. Here's City Hall to the far left. See it?
There it is.
City Hall.
City Hall, Fayette, Missouri.
And It's got a little antique place. In case you do get in trouble, there's your bail bonds right over there.
Oh, yeah. I have some friends that used to be regulars there. So where are we at right here?
Here is what used to be McMillan's.
Okay, so what happened with McMillan's, I guess?
Well, it was hit with a mini burst about 2002, and then the guy was running it, hadn't paid some of his taxes, and they lost the liquor license, and it was for a long time. More recently, it was a Chinese restaurant, and then there was another restaurant.
Wow.
Like a lot of restaurants, they had some problems because of COVID.
Yeah.
So anyway,
a lot of big decisions were made in Max back in the day.
they were indeed, and I spent a lot of time there.
That was the hot place to hang out for Central. There's the campus back up there.
It has, yep, you can see it at the end of the street. Now over here to the left corner is the old jail, which is now owned by Main Street and has been used to some extent as a bed and breakfast and a place for events.
We visited that, and you can put your hands in the shackles and do all that. It's kind of a neat novelty.
Yeah,
It was purchased by a millionaire from out of town and wanted to revamp.
his name is Gary. He's a good friend of mine. He's a lawyer out in California.
Okay.
But I had a lot to do with saving that. It almost ended up being a parking lot.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because after they built the new jail, which you'll see right around the corner here, there's the jail that replaced it.
Never been here.
Yeah.
I promise. Even when I was in college here. There it is. Howard County. There's the police officers. Okay.
There's St. Paul United Methodist, which
Lots
is
of churches.
Historically black church. Oh yeah, there's a lot more. And I'll show you the Catholic Church and some others here in a minute.
Cool. So how much more do we have to cover?
No, not too much.
Okay. This is nice. We're about 22 minutes in, so ladies and gentlemen, we're in the heart of Fayette, Missouri. This is the backside of the town square. We're coming back up.
We're just about to collide with a Chevrolet.
Yeah, Chevrolet, she's decided she's coming out.
Yep.
All right, we're a small town. Everybody kind of makes time for everybody.
That's true. Okay, we're going to...
New Century Block.
Yeah, you came through here a minute ago. And then we go down here. And...
Back to the other end of the residential. So when we pulled out, we went away. We went, I guess, is that west?
Yeah, that's when we were in South Main, and that's where... those were some of the earliest homes back when the town was founded.
Okay.
And that was also... You got to be careful here because oncoming traffic does not stop. Okay, let's go down here, then we'll head back out, and then we'll...
Then we get those keys and food, I guess, is that
Yeah, we will.
Where are we going for those? Are those along here?
Okay, here we go.
Back around the town square. So everything's pretty easy to find.
Yes,
everybody kind of knows everybody.
It's all fairly compact.
About 2,800, 2,200?
2,800, yeah,
2,800
just about that.
residents.
The car wash here. And now you see the back of the library. We'll head on down here for just a minute. This is a very fine little auto store here. I found they really have whatever you need, or if they don't, they can get it in less than 24 hours.
Really?
This is our clinic here, good sized clinic, and it's tied in with the University of Missouri, MU Medical Clinic, and the med school.
So in Fayette, Central Methodist University is larger than Mizzou.
Well, I guess you could put it that way.
As far as, at least for that one building.
Here's our
CNR, okay.
Here's our Dollar General to the left, poor man's Walmart, and there's Dollar General. That was put in about 2005, I mean.
So this okay.
And this is historic in through here because this is where the railroad was. The railroad came right down through here.
So Central Methodist University founded. When was Central founded? Was it
1854?
1854.
This is the main city cemetery. There's another one out on the other side of town called Walnut Ridge. Okay, now we're coming back into this oldest residential area. You see the brick streets, the nice big old homes. Yeah.
Are there any? This house looks like it might rival the Elms in terms of.
Yeah, this house, the one up here, the red brick one, is probably comparable and about the same age, I'm guessing. It's called the Ferguson House.
Okay.
And
It's not quite as fancy, but it's got that traditional roof. A little cuticle. It's got the.
this is a little store that sells a variety of items called Gray Willows, gifts, antiques, that type of thing. So forth. Okay, now we're going to head out west, and then we'll be pretty much done. I'm not going to take you out to there's 3 city lakes, and they're all kind of picturesque and nice. But that might be a little far for now.
Yep, we got to get back to Judy. I think she's probably wondering where we're at.
Yeah. Just tell her you fell into Evile companionship and loved every minute of it.
Right.
Okay. Now this I know is great interest to you. That's our new liquor store there.
That well, heck, where's that at?
Yeah, see where the kind of green sign is there with the barrel on top of it. Seems to be pretty. It's brand new. Been there maybe a year at most.
Okay.
And it's a pretty nice place.
So not a dry county here.
No.
Never has been, I don't think.
Never has been. No. That's our post office, of course.
There's the post office. But there's
Right
the
over
liquor
there.
store. Post office?
Yeah.
Liquor store.
Right across the street.
All right, very good. So you can mail your valuables to wherever need to go right after you have had a few beers.
This is a former elementary school.
Okay, so
But
that's
it's,
a house. But
It's used as a residence now. Also, the
okay.
location of our low power FM radio station.
The Howard County. So the fire department is right down from the liquor store.
Yeah.
That keeps people safe, I guess. Burning things down.
Where the big flag is flying, that's where the mayor lives.
There you go. The #1 team in football, right there's at least the #1 team in Missouri. For a long time, they were just the #1 team in Missouri. For a short time, I guess. For a long time, they were #2 team in Missouri. And they were #1 for a long time, too. Chiefs.
Okay, Carter, over to the right over there is a pretty good sized building. It houses a lot of stuff. It used to be our hospital, which closed in 1995. But there are some county offices in there, city offices, a chiropractor, doctor. I have my office in there. It's called the Keller Building.
Okay.
And it's
Yeah, I remember that was the hospital. I believe my grandmother stayed there towards the end.
yeah, she would have indeed. She was one of the grand matriarchs of Fayette.
Was she? Okay.
Oh yes.
Mrs. Rethwisch.
They would do write-ups in the local paper and say that Edith Rethwisch poured and a good time was had by all.
Well, they had the house to do that.
You got some more residential areas in through here.
So this is a town that Braxton Rethwisch grew up in. That's my dad. And Central Methodist College, where he had worked for 53 years. And Mr. Steele here, who has been the number of titles you've held here.
Yeah, whatever. That goes out about a mile out, and there's a beautiful little tiny lake. It was the original water supply, but now it's just for recreation.
Oh, really?
And they've got some nice playground for kids. Your mom went out there, I think, last summer for a picnic or something. I think you guys were here.
Jim, you were the editor-in-chief for a long time?
Yeah, for 10 years.
10 years.
The Fayette. We had 2 papers, just one now. We had 2 papers there.
Oh, so you know what happens if there's only one paper.
Yeah. Well, most small towns, virtually no small town this size has 2 papers anymore. Some of them don't have any paper.
You never find out the truth if there's only one paper, though, right?
We're not into politics.
I'll just say it in general. Did he do it or did he not do it? There's only one story. There's only one paper.
This is the Catholic Church, by the way. Nice congregation. And they are very good about letting people use that.
That's like the 7th church we've seen it. Maybe more.
There's our chief, our new sheriff.
Is that it? Okay.
Yeah.
USPS.
Yep.
And if you wanted to go back. So Mom taught her first year after she graduated Central, married Braxton, and went to Glasgow to teach at Glasgow High School.
And Glasgow is a great little town right on the river, very pretty, picturesque, etc., etc. And
cool finish on that cottage. That's pretty neat. Oh, we got the aqua blue house. That was kind of cool.
yeah.
There's CMU. Used to be CMC, Central Methodist College. When did that change?
In 2004.
2004.
Yeah, because they expanded into graduate programs and that type of thing. So, and then when Braxton and I first enrolled here in the spring of 1960, it was simply Central College.
That's right.
And they've added of course, it always had been Methodist Hoodie, and there's your house over there.
And there we are. And we're only driving by here because we got to go get these keys made.
Yeah, that's right.
There is the house. And with that,
that's the Methodist parsonage there.
that was my mom and dad's house. We'll be back to that beautiful cottage facility in just a bit. I didn't realize how we came back around, and I was expecting us to come in from the other end.
Yes.
I put my name on that sign. I saw that.
Yep.
Dip. No, it wasn't. Here's a.
Coming back up to. Now we're going to go south again on Church Street, which is also Highway 240, and go to CNR.
Okay. So.
And we are really pretty lucky to have that grocery store here, because before that we had. Oops, here's somebody. That's Susan.
Okay. A convertible PT Cruiser.
You know, that's been in every parade for the last 10 years.
So that kind of concludes our tour as far as now we're going back to get our...
Just to go to CNR.
Now we're going to get some keys made. Give it up for Mr. Steele, Jim Steele, our tour guide here today, and a legend in the entire region here, at least up to St. Louis, probably up to Chicago.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Famous guy here, but Mr. Steele's been a great family friend. And when did you first become friends with my dad?
Well, when we were in school together, but
Are you talking high school, or are you talking...
No, I grew up in Ferguson, a place you've heard of, I'm sure.
St. Louis, okay.
But no, we knew each other as students, but we really became close friends when we both were working for the college. And then particularly after I moved back here in 1970, moved back here to buy the paper. That would have been 2000. And about that time, your folks decided to cease renting out the big house and fix it up for them to come back to on weekends. So we all had a good time, and a lot of good times there.
Very cool. All right, everybody. We'll finish up. I'll restart the video. I'm going to keep it as one video, but we'll restart it when we get closer back to the house. Just give you a shot of the famous Elms house here in Fayette, Missouri.
Yeah.
We'll be back. Thank you, Jim. The man of steel, Mr. Steele, Jim Steele.
Yeah, right.
So there's Central. We'll pick up here. We've got our keys made, and there's Central. And then I love this sign is famous. The sign. This is the old school speed bump, but instead it's a dip.
Yeah.
And it allows you to, if you go barreling through here, you will bottom out.
Yes.
So I don't know if it's done on purpose, but it is effective.
There's some stray cats over there.
And so that is Central, and then what is it, 2.5, 3 blocks away?
Yep.
Here it is on the right, ladies and gentlemen. This kind of eclectic, well-known, rather famous, the Elms right there.
The elms, and there used to be elms on it until all the Dutch elm disease caused that to come to an end. Not only the elms here, but the elms everywhere.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I as a kid, I knew there were tons of walnut trees, and you still see lots of.
You still got some pretty trees out here.
And I just realized that none of them were actually elms, though. So here it is, everybody. We're on the side. I'm gonna do a quick walk around the house to show everybody the outside. We've already done videos and related stuff of the inside. Let me grab anything I need to carry. I'll carry my keys. I got an empty. Let me see here. So I'll show you. We'll just walk around the whole back side of the house and then show you guys the front. And we've taken a bunch of pictures of the inside. Maybe we can show you a little bit of the inside, but it's pretty fantabulous house. It's built, I believe, the banker within the town built this house. And the story is he committed suicide, and in doing so, the house went on the market for what ended up being a significant discount, and they got a heck of a deal. And my grandparents bought the house at the courthouse steps, and have owned it. It's been in the family ever since. It was Henry and his bride, my grandmother. Here is the front, and there's been a number of events out here. They put chairs out in this yard. I've taken hundreds of, I wouldn't say ground balls, but I would throw balls against those steps to catch it back and forth and improve my baseball skills. Everybody knows I had the skill level to make it in the MLB, many people said, and then was hit by the drunk driver. Coaches I ran into since assured me that, yeah, I would have made it. But anyway, here for more important reasons. But here, check out this incredible house. And that's it from the outside. All right, everyone, hope you enjoyed our little tour of Fayette, Missouri. And we finish right here with the Elms. Beautiful house owned by the Rethwisches. And we'll be back for more. See you again soon. Giddy up.